So hey, it's Ian here. I talked about the APRA changes 3 or 4 years ago and how it made a big difference to skyrocketing prices rather than levelling prices out. And ultimately, of course, what had to happen when prices go too quick in an upward direction, in 3 years, Sydney doubled in price. What has to happen? Eventually it has to have a correction. All cycles have a correction. It happened in 70, it happened in 60, it happened in 72, it happened in 88, it happened in 2004, happened in 2008, and they talked about it in 2011 when the GFC, the Greek financial crisis happened, and then they talked about it when in 2013 it didn't happen, 2015 didn't happen, 2017 didn't happen, and 2019 all of a sudden the media said, we told you so, it was going to happen. But they missed all of that extra stuff that happened beforehand. Now when it comes to the property prices, they had to level out. And of course in Sydney, in the high-end areas, the $1 to $3 million property price bracket, there's been a 15 to 20% and sometimes even more reduction in prices in the last year. Why? Because it was just an overstimulated market and it had to happen. So is it going to be the bare bones and the end of the property market in Sydney and Melbourne? And is there going to be a 40% crash like 60 Minutes predicted a year ago? There's, Harry Dent doing his story. This is a guy that flies around the world and sells tickets by telling people that things are going to go bad. It's done it for years and years. And if you listen to Harry Dent in 2007, 8, 9, 11, 13, then you'd be in a really bad spot right now. Even the Western Sydney University professor that would get on Current Affair every 3 or 4 months and talk about the housing crash. He sold all his properties in 2004. He had an investment property and his own home. He sold it in 2004 because there was this big market crash coming. Guess where he is right now? Renting. Because he left the marketplace. Now, had he had a strategy where he could have been able to keep that property, regardless of what the property did in value and price, and it was cash flow positive, that is, there was more money coming in after all costs, then who really cares about the property market going up or down in short cycles? Because ultimately we know that if you bought a property in 1988 at $140,000, today it would be worth well over $1 million. As long as you had cash flow to sustain yourself during that time, it's a very important thing to understand that the wealth creation in property happens over longevity, not over short periods of time. Yes, you can get in, you can do a development, you can do something to a property, get its value up, sell it and move on, but what you've just done is you've sold your profit to someone else that's going to earn wealth in the long term. So for me, I always say, let's get a strategy that gives you positive cash flow, that gets you an outcome that's better for everyone. I'll talk about what the strategy is in the next video.